Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I wanted to share a little bit about self-love for the week that's in it, Valentine's Day. So self-love, it's one of those topics. I think self-love as a word, as a term, it gets thrown around so much, but some people ask me, what does that actually mean? And how does that actually look? How do I practice that in my life? So I wanted to make this video to let you in on a few ways that you can integrate into your life to really boost those self-loving thoughts, feelings and actions. So here we go. So the first thing that I would remind people is that we are born loving ourselves, but it's somewhere along the path of life we start to disconnect a little bit from that. Sometimes, and I think very often, it's from the words other people say to us. So other people might start saying things to us that make out or that kind of subtly indicate that we're not good enough. And I do think that this can start even from very early on in life. It can even be the influence of our friends in school, or it could even be sometimes the words of parents, grandparents or siblings. There's so many ways that this can creep in. So it's almost like, it dampens our sense of self confidence and our mood even sometimes. So it's learning that sometimes it's from other people we take on this about ourselves, that we're not good enough. And obviously that's the opposite to self-love, because self-love is saying, no, I am good enough, and going out into the world and claiming what's yours. So the first part is learning that, look, it's often actually a lot of unlearning, and it's a journey, it's a destination that we get to. But I would say it's not something you always take on. It's more about coming home to the self-love within that you always have from the moment you were born. So it's letting go of all the other things that you've taken on that no longer serve you, all the way up along in childhood, teen years, or in your 20s or 30s or whenever it was. So self-love, it's really the foundation upon which we build that happy, fulfilled life. And it's often to do with looking at our thoughts, the way we're thinking in our head, the way we're feeling, and also our behaviours and our actions as well. So I'm going to talk you through some of these today. And again, feel free to leave me a comment if you like this video, or even if you didn't like it. I'm always open to hearing your feedback. And don't forget to subscribe as well. So here we go, let's get into it. So the first one, number one, be mindful of your self-talk. The mind is so powerful. What we tell ourselves is what we believe about ourselves, Sometimes we keep saying things about ourselves that are negative, nasty, and it's maybe other people saying to us as well, or maybe that's where they originated. But the more we say these negative things to ourselves, the more we start to believe them. On the flip side, if we start saying more positive, loving words and phrases such as affirmations or mantras, over time we start to believe them. So words are so powerful. We really need to tune into what we are saying to ourselves every single day. So I would say to a lot of my clients, start adopting this more positive routine. So in the morning, I would say, repeat the 5 or 10 affirmations that resonate with you. So positive, loving affirmations. And this is a habit. Some people laugh first. They say, oh, I'd never say that to myself. When I suggest to them, why don't you say in the morning, I love and approve of myself? They just laugh. They think that's hilarious. They're like, I could never do that. That's big up myself. That's not what we're taught in Ireland. So yeah, I get it. We're not taught that always, but this is the path to healing. It's starting to love yourself and to speak kindly to yourself. So when you get into it, we can't just do 1 or 2 days and say, oh, it didn't work, throw those affirmations to the side. It takes 28 days, I think they say. Or is it 21 or 28 days? Anyway, there is experts to say it takes about that long, 20 plus days anyway, to form a new habit. So we have to do it repeatedly for that long. So I think it's just sticking with it, and catching yourself. Be mindful of your self-talk as you go throughout the day, and catching yourself. If you notice those negative phrases with thoughts coming in, catch yourself and replace them with more loving, kind, helpful self-talk, positive thoughts. Another one on that is noticing what's the story you're telling yourself in your head. What are you telling yourself repeatedly about yourself? Are you telling yourself limiting things, saying I can't, using that phrase? I tell people to banish that from their vocabulary and just use I can. And that alone is a massive change. It is so huge, I can't even tell you. Another one is to allow mistakes. Let go of that perfectionism. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Mistakes are how we learn, so embrace mistakes. The sooner you get better at embracing mistakes, the easier things will be. I promise you that. I've learned a lot about that one. So yeah, there's so much along this around being mindful of our self-talk and the ways we talk to ourselves. The next one is practicing, compassionate, loving self-talk. So that's, like I said earlier, that could be through meditations as well as affirmations. So listening to guided meditations and being around positive, supportive people, and there's more on that later. Number 2, nurture yourself. Nurturing and nourishing your mind, body, and soul are the best ways to tap into your inner connection and build and cultivate that self-love. So as I say to people, it could be through nourishing your body, getting enough sleep every night, getting the right nourishing, nutritious meals in your day, and also being mindful to get a bit of movement. So, you know, they recommend even 30 minutes a day, 20 to 30 minutes even of a short walk, that can be enough. But even gentle stretching, anything else that you feel that you enjoy, you know. So it's about nourishing your body that way, eating well, sleeping well, and exercising, and also allowing time for rest. Also, you can add in nice things like a nice relaxing bath, self-massage, which I love, essential oils, what else? Making time for fun and just being playful, you know, connecting into that inner child, and listen to your intuition and asking yourself, well, what is it that I want and need in my body? What do I need in my mind? Is it to let go of certain thoughts, or, you know, even in my life, is it that there's certain people or places that are draining on my energy? So it's tapping into your intuition and your energy and how you feel, and taking an inventory of what you may need to let go of, and also what new things you might want to add in. So nurture your body, really important. Next one, number 3, is choose yourself. So when people are on a self-love journey, I would always remind them that you need to choose you. What does that look like, people ask? Sometimes it looks like saying no and letting go of some connections in your life that are no longer serving you. You know, boundaries are important sometimes. We need to have boundaries and be a little bit more self-assured, I suppose, you know, because sometimes when we aren't that confident in ourselves, we can accept a lot less from other people, as in we can maybe be treated a little poorly, you know, or we might not just stand up for ourselves enough to say, hang on a second, you can't speak to me that way if somebody's speaking to you in a negative way. So boundaries are really, really important because they help you tap into that sense of injustice sometimes, you know, if someone says or does something that you're not okay with. So it's about listening to that and setting boundaries, being assertive. Assertiveness training is something I do with clients, and it's all about learning to say no. A lot of us are not good at saying no. We are born people pleasers. We're not good at saying no, and I think that this has been one of the biggest, most challenging lessons I had to learn when I started my psychology training. My supervisors and my teachers used to say to me, you are not going to survive in this career if you do not learn assertiveness. And they told me at the end of first year, I think it was, they were like, if you want to continue into second year, you have to go off this summer and take an assertiveness training course, because you are not assertive at all and you need to be assertive. So honestly, I used to be all the way up along in school, used to be called shy. My teachers were like, she needs to speak up more. Imagine if they could see me now. But they used to say, if you could speak up more, that'd be great. You need to be able to participate more in the class. And you know, that has been a huge transformation for me. So if I can do it, you can too. Finding your voice, expressing yourself, learning that your opinions matter. You are important. This is how we choose ourselves and show up for ourselves, and also taking ownership and accountability as well. You know, sometimes we can let things slide, but they might eat up our headspace then, you know, in the evenings after work, and it's like it drags on our energy, it drains on our energy. So we need to know when to step up and protect ourselves, you know, and say no. And this is all about reclaiming your inner voice, and it's a beautiful journey to go on. When you come out the other side, you're like, wow, you know, it's incredible when you find your voice, because you're like, okay, my opinions matter. I deserve to speak up in the world. I deserve to, you know, use my voice, and that, you know, I deserve to say to someone, look, you can't say that to me, you can't speak to me that way. And even I know sometimes we tiptoe around and we people please because we don't want to lose connections or lose people in our lives, but setting boundaries is actually a way of keeping people in our lives. If you think about it, you know, with the ones we love, we want to keep them in our lives, but we want to say, okay, this is right for me, this isn't, you know, the way it's clear communication. But with other people, we may not want them in our lives as well, you know. So it's about learning it's okay, even if it'll make you unpopular, you know, to speak up. It can be hard and challenging that way because we want to keep people on our side, but really, you know, we have to stay true to ourselves and authentic, and this is all on the self-love journey. The next one is get to know you. Who are you? There's a famous quote and it says, to know yourself is to love yourself. How perfect for this video on self-love. But a lot of the times, a lot of people don't know who they are anymore. And I know this is kind of cliche, who am I? People going off to the yoga retreats to find themselves. But honestly, I do believe an awful lot of people do not know who they are. They're defined by their labels, by the job they do, being a mom, whatever it is, but they don't actually know who they are. So I think sometimes it's getting to know who you are deep down at your core, you know. Who are you? What lights you up? What ignites that fire within? What dulls your sparkle? What diminishes your flame? You know, what it is that you love to do that makes you come alive, that you enjoy. What are your passions, your interests? What makes you tick? You know, what makes you angry? What makes you feel connected? What makes you feel sad? All of these things. And that's why therapy can be amazing, but also having a space, even yourself at home. It could be having a mindful morning routine, which I suggest to a lot of my clients. Incorporating yoga in the mornings, meditation, journaling, all these things create a wonderful space to tap into and to get to know you a little bit more. This is the foundation of building self-love. And the last one is allow rest and creativity. Allow yourself to rest, allow your mind to rest. This is so important today in a world where we're constantly switched on our phones, you know, watching something on Netflix. We're constantly switched on. We need to allow our minds to rest. Sometimes that looks like, you know, having better boundaries with your phone at night, so switching it on to flight mode at 9 o'clock, getting that nice hour before bed to read or listen to music or connect with someone. So I think it's just having, you know, that downtime, really making time for it. That's absolutely key, I think, in today's world. And then apart from that as well, it's like sometimes letting go of perfectionism. Sometimes we just don't let ourselves to stop work and to stop, you know, doing, and we just don't allow ourselves to. So I think that's also to do with reminding yourself, look, my work day is done now I need to switch off and rest. And I think it's sometimes even just saying that to yourself, you know, tomorrow's another day, I've done my best for today, it's time to rest now. And being kind to yourself, going easy on yourself, you know. You wouldn't expect a child to go to school all day and then work all into the night, you know, and be up on their phones all night. That's the last thing you'd want. You want them to have their downtime just like you need to have it yourself, you know. So don't neglect yourself. Don't you know, neglect your sleep patterns, your bedtime routine, your wind down routine. All of those things allow for rest and creativity. And even at the weekends, planning some fun spontaneous things. Even you can do fun things that are planned or spontaneous. I mean, so whichever it is, having something, just having that open mind that you also need your inner child to come out and play. And life can't be all work. So create that space for yourself. So that's the end of my self-love video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments, and feel free to drop me a line as well if there's any questions or any further thoughts on that. And don't forget to subscribe. I'm sending so much love, everyone. Take care, and remember that you are enough and you are loved and lovable. Sending love. Bye.